2, 3.
It is a great day at IHIP News where we share our opinion about the news that is important to us. Pumps has prepared a presentation in which she will razzle-dazzle the viewers with her hard-hitting political analysis from one of America's greatest legal minds. Pumps, what do you have prepared for us today?
Well, as everyone knows by now, my favorite pastime is watching Trump just implode, repeatedly implode.
Yes.
And one thing that I think cannot be overstated is the fact that he is a racist.
Mm-hmm.
I think, in my opinion, he has emboldened racism in his followers and being more outspoken about it, because it used to be embarrassing for people to know you're a racist, but
right.
He brags about it. And so I just wanted to remind people some of his greatest hits in racism, and then now the current mood and what he's saying now. So I want to start with one of the more infamous clips. There are very fine people on both sides of murder in the name of white supremacy.
Kill the person. Heather hired Charlottesville. They showed up in Charlottesville to protest.
Excuse me. They didn't put themselves down as you, and you had some very bad people in that group. But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group. Excuse me. I saw the same pictures as you did.
Just what a dick.
It's jaw-dropping that this wasn't the end of him.
There's so many things that could have been the end.
You could start talking about what should have finished him and canceled him once and for all, and none of them have been successful, which lends to your larger case of white supremacy and white privilege that he is afforded. I think Barack Obama wore a tan suit and Fox News had a stage 5 meltdown.
I mean, we had to almost go on respirators. We were so torn up about the tan suit. This guy's calling Haiti shithole countries. I mean, just, it never ends. Here's one that just, I still cannot believe this was not disqualifying.
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see peace.
Then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it. Do you want to call him? What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a
white
name.
Supremacists and
Who would
white
you like me to condemn?
White supremacists and right
Proud Boys, stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what. Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left.
Here's the thing. The Proud Boys stand back and stand by. We've heard testimony in front of the January 6th committee that was a call to action, that they believed that put them on notice that we're ready. And then you have so many Proud Boys involved in the insurrection. Again, why was that not disqualifying? Proud Boys are a white supremacy group, and they make no bones about it.
I think what amazes me about the far right Trumpers, MAGA movement, which is now the modern day mainstream Republican Party, is they embrace really shallow thinking, caveman-like ideas. They embrace tribalism. When we look at when society and civilization has truly advanced, people have embraced knowledge, critical thinking skills, acceptance. How do we bring more people in? And you can study history, just a very light brushing of it, and know that none of this is going to age very well.
Right. No, it's not. I mean, look at Hitler.
That's a prime example.
Which, as you might have guessed, our precious little Donald Trump is a big Hitler fan. According to Ivana Trump, he kept a copy of Mein Kampf on his bedside table, which we know he fucking doesn't read books, but that's the one he chose to read. And so here is a clip of his new thing is, just straight out of Mein Kampf, is he calls political opponents vermin.
Right.
We pledge to you that we will root out the communists, Marxists, fascists, and the radical left thugs that live like vermin within the confines of our country.
Straight out of a Hitler playbook.
Well, and all of this is intentionally coded language.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is all intentional on his part to signal to other racists that I've got you. And it still needs to be pointed out that there are different groups of people that vote for Trump. You have the insane racists like him, Proud Boys and whatnot, that are loud and proud about their racism and their tribalism, and they're all chips in on Trump. And then you have the Bible thumpers, the American Bible thumpers, who bizarrely are equally as racist as the overt Proud Boy type movement, but they just wrap it in this, well, you know, I'm a follower of Jesus and Jesus doesn't judge, but yeah, this group is vermin or that group is vermin. They use cognitive dissonance when describing their support. And then you have the people that are American capitalists that are me, me, me. I want everything done for me and I don't want to pay for it. I want to make all the money I possibly can, pay the least amount of taxes, and I don't give a shit about poor people, about immigrants, about anybody. Out of all three of those disgusting groups of people, I respect the latter the most because at least they own that they're pieces of shit. I don't, and respect is really a stretch, but I might get that more just overt selfishness because American society, we are taught to value individuals. We are taught to value capitalism. We're never really taught about collectivism. It doesn't seem to be a value of American culture. And it's something that when you look at cultures and societies that are successful and you look at sustainability, collectivism is going to be an integral part if America gets through this abject shit show that is Trumpism. And honestly, it could go either way.
Sad as that is to say, I think that's true. Even though he tells us from the jump, dictator, take away rights, people are following him.
Millions.
In the tens of millions.
You know, this is crazy. I was on Instagram and I saw Al Roker, you know, the weather guy for the Today Show. And he goes to the White House every year and does like an Easter thing and reports the weather for Easter, whatever, with the president, whomever the president is. And so he posts a picture of himself with President Biden and First Lady Dr. Jill Biden. And I looked at the comments, and sometimes I forget just how rabid these people are. And he actually had to go in the comment section, Al Roker, and said, stop with the negativity. You know, like, this is not, I'm just here at the White House. It's a cool thing. And they're just going crazy about Joe Biden and what a nut they think Joe Biden is. And I'm just like, how do you go from seeing Trump as like sane, and then you look at Joe Biden and you would think he was some crazy unhinged person? I don't understand that.
It's like the projection, Trump's projection is catching.
Yes. Because
now Trump is saying Biden is a threat to democracy. Are you fucking kidding me? You're the first president in the history of the United States that didn't believe in a peaceful transition of power and instigated a coup. But Biden's the problem?
I heard him recently say his projection is really masterclass.
It really is.
He said this could be the last election we ever have, which is obviously an argument for the Dems, considering Trump has said that he wants to be a dictator, which means free and fair elections are gone.
Gone.
You know, that's what just happened in Russia with Putin. That was not a free and fair election. And so it's amazing how much he projects what he's doing onto other people. But it's even more fascinating that millions of people are so stupid that they buy this.
It's unbelievable.
The lack of critical thinking skills in a large portion of the American public is breathtaking. And the ability of a lot of Americans to just be so overtly selfish, it just boggles the mind.
It also, although I find it jaw-dropping, offensive, appalling, the thing it is the most is dangerous. Yeah. It's dangerous for marginalized communities. It's dangerous for women. It's dangerous for education. It's dangerous for every sect of the population except Donald Trump's chosen few.
And it's dangerous for the world order.
Absolutely.
What Trump wants to do and what his big buoy right now that he's trying to throw out is he's broke and he's facing prison time. And if he wins, he wants to absolve his criminal cases. And he would very much the way Putin has use all of the resources of Russia to personally enrich himself, which is exactly what Trump is going to do. It's not a coincidence that he is the first president in modern times that is madly in love with Russia.
Right.
Even from his own political party, they were always considered somewhat of an adversary. And he likes that whole model, and that's what he wants to do. So you have issues with Ukraine. You would have Jared Kushner building condos in Gaza.
Right.
I mean, this would be a true world oligarchy.
Absolutely.
The whole globe should be watching this election closely because America's not perfect. America has a lot of problems, but God, I mean, we have to keep this place a democracy.
Absolutely. One other thing you mentioned earlier is the dehumanization of people. Trump dehumanizes people. This was just recently on a campaign stop in Michigan or Ohio. I can't remember which one.
They're in jail for years, if you call them people. I don't know if you call them people. In some cases, they're not people, in my opinion, but I'm not allowed to say that because the radical left says that's a terrible thing to say. I've seen the humanity, and these are bad. These are animals, okay?
Here's the problem. With where you stand on immigration is neither here nor there. People are not animals. All people have feelings. All people have hopes. They have dreams. They want to work hard. They want to make a name for themselves. By dehumanizing people, it's easier to marginalize, punish them, be ugly to them. And I just find it grotesque.
It's even more increasingly grotesque considering all of the people standing behind him. They probably read the Bible every single day, go to church every single Sunday.
Right.
It's no secret that I believe the core foundational glue that links Trumpism to these millions of people are shallow, black and white, religious thinkers. That is the connective glue. Religion is punitive. Trump is punitive. Evangelical Christianity categorizes people. Either you're a believer or you're not.
Sinner or not.
Yes. And it is from my vantage point, growing up in the Bible Belt, evangelical Christianity is an overtly negative religion. It's always talking about what you can't do and the people that don't agree with you, and then those people are going to go burn in hell. That is very similar to the things that Trump talks about. People are they can't wrap their head around how can all of these Christians support Trump? And I'm like, have you ever heard the sermons that these people hear?
It makes me aghast, all of it. But I think what I want to close with is Stephen Miller, who we all know is a nut. That's one of President Trump's campaign advisors. He's going to be a senior member of his White House staff should he be reelected. His big push right now is suing because whites are discriminated against.
What Miller and his allies call anti-white racism. Axios' Alex Thompson broke the story. He joins us now. What exactly is he planning here?
Yeah, essentially what he wants to do is in response to the Black Lives Matter era, he wants to make the federal government be all lives matter.
This is just red meat to racists to make them feel less racist,
right,
and to make them feel like victims. This is political theater, but to your point that you point out throughout all of this, it is incredibly dangerous. When you look at the fact that Black people in this country were enslaved for 400 years, and then you have, a few decades of segregation. We're only a few decades outside of that. The argument can be made that all of this generational wealth that white people have, all of the labor that went into that was slave labor. Their communities were never paid for building up America. It was all free labor. And I would even argue tortured and, enslavement, all of these horrible things. And it's really breathtaking that so many people that are white have such a difficult time grasping how that came to be, that these people are still, if life is a 100-yard dash, white people are starting that on the 50, 60-yard line, and Black people are still way, way, way back. And it's sad that so many people hear shit like that, and they have this weird mixture of emotions of rage plus punitive excitement.
Absolutely.
And that's the exact same thing I see when I talk to evangelical Christians. They're mad, but they also have this punitive excitement about categorizing the sinners who are going to hell. And sometimes I just think, God, are we going to make it past this because of the sheer numbers of stupid fucking Americans that cannot think outside the box? Their worldview is so teeny tiny, and they're all chips in on this ancient book that is literally irrelevant in modern times.
The sad part is that's a fact. They are all in on it. They don't see themselves as racist. They see themselves as saviors. Our government's becoming more and more Christian nationalist, religion coded into the government. But Trump, we all know he's not religious. We all know he's hawking Bibles to pay his bond and pay his legal fees. That he empowers those type of thinkers, that he put justices on the Supreme Court that overturned Roe. That's dangerous enough. But his overt racism, his inability to talk to all Americans, he only wants to fire up and enrage a certain population that are already racist, that continue to want to marginalize people, marginalize communities, marginalize women. It's dangerous. I'm tired of it. And I just have to ask again, why is being an overt racist not disqualifying for the president of the United States?
Because millions of Americans are equally racist.
That's right.
I mean, that is the answer.
Right.
And so this is they are trying to cling on. That's why it's Make America Great Again. And all of this language to when Black people and marginalized people were pushed down. They want to grasp onto that power. The Stephen Millers of the world, I mean, these are very dangerous sociopaths.
Absolutely.
And there is no difference that what these mega churches and churches do in general to grift off of the public and what Trump does. And they all dip into the same consumer base. All of those are all their same consumers. And these consumers are the ones who say the liberals, oh, they're sheep. And I'm like, the projection is outstanding with you guys.
The projection is absolutely masterful. If that's one thing we know, I don't believe a lot of things about Trump other than like he's a malignant narcissistic sociopath, but he's brilliant at projection. Does it better than anybody I've ever seen in my life. Maybe better than anybody in history. That could be his claim to fame.
All right, viewers, that's what we have for you today. Go vote.
We will see you when we feel like it.